Hello, and welcome to this session, an overview of school partnerships with the Académie de Reims in France. We are providing this recording for you to learn more about the school partnership application process with the Académie de Reims in France. Teachers and students at pre-K through 12th grade schools across the state in any subject or grade level can benefit from teaming up with partners in France on virtual classroom projects. This broadcast will explain how to get started, including submitting an application and understanding the current priorities and timelines for being matched with a colleague and school in France. International agreements like this, or Memorandum of Understanding, which is MOU, are part of the DPI's global education work. And all pre-K through 12th grade administrators and teachers are invited to attend this webinar, which is offered twice this year, and this recording as well. We are happy to have you here with us today. My name is Sayward Gridley, and I am joined by Anne-Marie Gunter, who you will hear from in just a moment. We are both members at the NCDPI Global Education Steering Committee, and we are happy to be sharing this information with you. Here is our agenda for today's recording. We will give you a brief overview of North Carolina global education, talk about international agreements, MOU with France, some background of education in France, and forming school partnerships, as well as, of course, how to submit a school partnership application and wrap up. I'll hand things over now to Anne-Marie to give you a little overview of North Carolina global education.
In North Carolina, our Global Education Steering Committee leads the efforts to provide statewide infrastructure to support and guide a common vision for global education in North Carolina's public schools. For this recording, we're focusing specifically on the goal of international agreements or partners, and as Sayward said, the Memorandum of Understanding that we have are MOUs. One initiative within our work is to renew existing MOUs and explore new MOUs. These partnerships through the MOUs help inform development of our K-12 curriculum here in North Carolina, as well as in other countries that we're partnered with. We also do things for teacher preparation and professional development in both countries through this work. Our State Board of Education currently has agreements or MOUs with public education systems in China, France, and Spain. The educators involved with this work and the professional groups that work with them support exchanges for students and educators, collaborative projects between classrooms, and awards for schools and students. It's done a little bit differently for each particular MOU, but that is part of the good work that's going on that you can become involved with.
Here is a little bit of an overview of all three of our international agreements, and you can see the date of our original agreement signings, as well as the date of renewal. This is what is displayed on our Global Ed website, which you can find linked there on the bit.ly, which is bit.ly/NC Global Ed. And once you get to that landing page, you will then click on the International Agreements section, which you can see on the bottom right there, to learn more. It will give you all of this information, as well as more information and details about MOUs.
Today's recording is specifically at our new MOU with France. You can see here, once you go to the International Agreements page, that you'll see that drop-down menu. And there's a screenshot here of what you'll see about France, not only the renewal year and when the original MOU was signed, but also the principles that guide our work with our partners in France and the current projects that we have happening. There's also a screenshot of the press release when we announced this partnership in October of 2020, which you see there. And one of the new things included in the MOU with France is a global education section, which we are hoping to add to all MOUs in the future. This global recognition section or global education section looks at school designations like Global Ready Schools and Global Ready District designations that we have in North Carolina. It also talks about the Global Languages Endorsement, or GLE, our state seal of biliteracy, and the Global Educator Digital Badge, or GEDB, which any educator in North Carolina can earn. There are similar types of things mentioned in the MOU that France has, but they are also interested in these recognitions and so forth that we do with global education and replicating those. In addition, it's important to know that our new MOU with France is the same academy or the same partner as Virginia has. And as Sayward has mentioned already, that MOUs and the school partnership application process is open to any teacher or any educator in pre-K through 12 schools, regardless of your subject or grade level.
Great, so let's chat for just a moment about education in France. This information here was shared by our contact in France, Aurore Remberg, who is the director of the Académie de Reims in France. And it was shared with us in October of 2019. It also provides information about how France is broken up educationally. In France, there are 17 regions, 30 academies, and 101 départements, which are kind of like our 100 counties in North Carolina. This next slide shows how education in France is handled in what we would equate to our elementary level, and shows how those levels are broken up and what they are and what they're called. Take a moment to just check out this slide to get an overview and familiarize yourself with them. This next slide is essentially the same thing, but for our secondary level, which is grades 6 through 12 for us. This is how they break them up and the different paths that students can follow in France. Take a moment to check out this layout as well. One interesting thing about education in France that we want to make you aware of is the foreign language learning in France. Students usually start learning a first foreign language at a very early age, and it's usually English, and they continue studying it throughout their primary grades. English is a focus, so that students are usually bilingual in French and English. Then they typically add a second foreign language around ages 11 to 12 in the lower secondary level, so that they can also learn another language at that time as well. And then they possibly add a third language in upper secondary, so students often speak 4 languages by the time they finish school.
International agreements are also important to the academy that we're partnered with in France. In addition to having MOUs with North Carolina and Virginia in the United States, they also have partnerships with Spain, particularly Andalusia from the European Union or EU, and several connections with the United Kingdom, as you can see on the screen. In addition, they have some individual and collective or group student exchanges that happen with their partners in Germany.
So there are a few schools that have already submitted applications in our initial set of applications in January 2020. These are the schools and districts who initially set up these partnerships with France during that time. As you see, some of them are with French classes, but we also see some teachers from sciences, CTE, and arts classrooms. You could see that there's an opportunity for any classes to be a part of a program like this. And we do welcome grades pre-K through 12 once again, so not only high schools. We highly encourage middle schools to apply at this time and elementary as well. Anne-Marie will tell us a little bit more about that and how to submit applications.
As Sayward was saying, it's important to know that anyone can form a school partnership with our partners in France. School partnerships are available for all, and the application process happens on a rolling basis, so there's no need to worry about a deadline. Specifically, you need to be a pre-K through 12 school in North Carolina, anywhere across the state, any grade level or arrangement of grade spans. As we've said, you can teach any subject or grade level that's interested in doing virtual projects. I know this last year we've all gotten better at doing virtual projects, but this is the kind of work that we did even before when we had MOU partnerships like this. It is helpful in your application and at your school to have one or more of the following here on this list. A language program in your school can be any language, doesn't matter what it is, but it can be helpful to have that. Don't forget though, our partners in France are almost always bilingual in French and English. It can be good as well to have French offered as a language, at least at the high school level in your district, whether that's your actual school that you're in or your feeder school at the elementary or middle school level that has students going to that high school that offers French. In addition, it can be good to have a global or international theme for your school or your district. Obviously, a partnership like this could enhance that work and make it very real in the eyes of your students and your community. But it's also good to have that as a focus to begin with so that you're more ready to do things like virtual projects and connect to that theme or initiative that's already happening. Another good thing on your application is that you have another partner teacher joining you who teaches a subject in English. So as we said, you can teach anything, and we have many applications that are sent in with 2 or 3 teachers working together in North Carolina, and then they are matched with 2 or 3 teachers in the same school in France. So let's say a French teacher and an arts education teacher, or perhaps a CTE teacher and another area, science maybe. So consider that as part of your application. For this next school year, one of the things our partners in France have mentioned to us is that they're seeking applicants, particularly at the middle school level. Again, all levels are welcome to submit an application and we'll match you with a partner in France, but they would like to see some additional applications if we have them from our middle schools and even our elementaries so that younger students are becoming involved in collaborations like this and virtual projects. You can submit your application using the online form at this bit.ly link, bit.ly/France School Partnership Application. It used to be a 3-page bilingual application, as you can see on the right-hand side, but we've now made it an electronic form. On this application, you'll find sections that you fill in about your school, any information you have about a dual language and immersion program or DLI program. If you don't have that, just leave it blank. And then about your potential school, partner school, what you're looking for. Are you looking for a high school, a middle school, or a lycée or college, or an elementary school? You'll also give some details about your partnership projects. So it's important to think through what you're already doing in your curriculum that might tie very well to doing a virtual project with an international partner like this. Feel free to fill in as many details as you have about the topic and how you might go about it so that it's clear in your application the kind of thing you'd like to pursue with your partner teacher in France. If you have any questions about submitting a school partnership application or about our MOU with France, you can email those to NCDPI Global Education at ncglobaleducation@dpi.nc.gov. And just a note, the school partnership applications are submitted online and they'll be compiled monthly and then forwarded for matching on an ongoing basis. We are sharing this bilingual application online with Virginia, and so we're seeing a lot of teachers from both of our states take advantage of this. We hope you'll take this opportunity to submit an application and find a partner in France that you can work with throughout your school year.